Welcome all signs, welcome collective. This is a reading on the full moon of Libra, which is occurring on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And I love this fool's trickster energy that is mingling with our resistance of perfectionism. I also love the embrace with Venus ruling the sign of Libra, the spectrum of the feminine archetypes, the divine good mother and Mother Earth, and the divine dark mother, the mother who uh, fiercely holds on to her independence, her right to live in her own power. So this is honoring as well spring equinox, which occurred a few days ago, the seasonal shift. And what I pulled for the collective was the protection card, the true ribs from the energy archaeology, which I'll read from the guidebook. When in balance, the keywords are guardian and container, and the wisdom reads, ideally, protection prevents you from harm while also preserving your capacity to be who you are. Protecting and holding as sacred the visceral emotional intelligence of your body requires discernment. Not everyone you meet will get to see these parts of you. However, over time, with repeated harm and a reduced capacity to allow your true self to show, protection can feel more like a cage of your own making, necessary but constricting, safe but sequestering. Your strength of self withers within the walls of your safe room. There's a paradox to protection. Being overly protected is just as unhelpful as being unprotected. You can become too disassociated, locked down, and removed, just as you can become too exposed and defenseless. There's a continual flow inviting you to a middle ground, one that resonates with the vulnerability of the sternum, yet remembers the lessons learned there, one that has compassion for the burden and responsibility of the inner child, yet finds the blessing and wisdom, one that aligns with the truth of your present, not the ghosts of your past. Allow your protection to be washed clean, keeping only what you need. And this is coupled with empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. And in many ways, the word both can be removed or replaced with all sides of a situation, because there isn't always a duality. There can be multiple sides of a situation or a challenge that we face. And so I do feel that empathy is a way that we can reduce our own guardedness, elevate our willingness to trust or feel into the experience of another, that we can identify, and in that way release some of the protections that we set up around ourselves and help others to recognize the limitations of their own experience or emotional experience or framing of that experience. I have pulled cards for the present, past, and future, and I'm going to pull an overall energy from the deck that I will be clarifying for. The Empress is what comes up, and here again, we see the rise of the divine feminine in general, with several, I should say, of the global planetary shifts that we're experiencing. I believe that the rise of the divine feminine, among many other things, it allows us to, our personal gifts, our innate gifts and talents to emerge and to find an acceptance of who we are in that, rather than a suppression of those energies. So this is really about the power you were gifted with, and finding a way to be productive with that, a way that fuels and motivates your creations on earth. In the present, I'm clarifying. I am looking at the Ten of Swords and the Two of Cups. So this is giving a story about the release of perfectionism in any ways as defined by the expectations of others. Our desire to do a good job is often in response to some kind of trauma, criticism, or image that others hold of us that may not be authentic to who we are. And it may take a long time to recognize those as motivating factors in your actions or your experiences. But really, the recognition that what others expect of you is not always in your best interest is a gateway into releasing, surrendering to that, understanding that really nobody knows what's best for you but you. And that takes a while to gain. Of course, when we're young, we accept the wisdom we believe of our elders, but as we grow and experience our own lives, talents, relationships, we begin to feel a sense of authenticity and principles emerging within us, for us. And this indicates that you have gone through an intense release, a surrender that has been physically draining and exhausting. This is you no longer resisting the status quo, but simply recognizing that there are alternatives. And the Two of Cups is describing your entry to a strong healing connection with yourself. This is really restoring the brokenness of failures, disappointments, and instead recognizing that that power, the healing quality, the self-respect, the love, the honor of your desires is something you can give for yourself, which helps to fuel your movement forward in a way that creates matching energies around you, matching connections, the magnetism of those aligned with your values and goals to come towards you, the recognition that relationships aren't agreements and can be negotiated with a real friend, a real alliance, a real connection allows you to dialogue about the changes you're experiencing and the changes that they are experiencing and how that can best facilitate some kind of shared goal you have, long-term benefit rather than short-term instant gratification. And in the past, the Death card. So this is telling me for many of you that this transformation began long ago in the past. It isn't necessarily over, sorry to report, but it is a part of the whole social container we live in. So this death, this transformation, this crumbling of infrastructure or institutions, organizations that once served us and that we have always relied on is a part of our personal transformation. That these go hand in hand together, and that this is about the way that we have been protected as well as the way that we protect ourselves. Those edifices are crumbling. And we are now in the business of coming from a place of authentic becoming rather than simply unbecoming, which it may have felt like previously, that you were just in the midst of losing things and it took so much to reach down so deep within you just to survive the loss. In the future, the Strength card. So this is really about the kind of power within you are creating, you are internalizing, so that this innate power, this innate acceptance of your gifts, This acknowledgement that you have all you have to do what it is that needs to be done, to create what needs to be created, to harvest with discrimination, to work in attunement and alignment with others based on your experience and your desire to nurture what is best. This is what is being amplified right now. You can withstand anything. It's almost like an unstoppable energy. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can divert you. You understand what is real, and what's real is love, is power, is the ability to tame your animal instincts and your anger in a way that channels those qualities into productive motivation. I'm going to clarify, but if this reading is resonating for any of you, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the incredible love that I have been receiving from you, especially the support in whatever way you give it. I have very little expectation except for your presence. That's what means everything to me. So thank you in advance for that. I'm going to stick this here, and I'm going to clarify the Death card in the past with the Queen of Cups, the Two of Cups and the Ten of Swords with the Seven of Pentacles, and the Strength card with the Page of Wands. Beautiful. So we're definitely in a stage of renewal, growth, focusing on our growth. Not getting stuck in some static place that we were told was for us our destination. This looks less than destination oriented because of the power that you contain within you, because of the acknowledgement and love you are able and willing to give to yourself. The release of the expectations of others, the demands, the status quo, is replaced by this focus on your own emotional needs and desires. And for many of us, it has taken a lifetime to recognize that we're worthy of our desires and needs, that we have a right to desire love, to have love. We're deserving of love. And this is part of the healing journey that you're on, the ability to understand that what has been swept away, what is being swept away, is more than amply being replaced by a sense of giving and receiving, the power of contribution rather than hoarding material assets, having more than you need. Instead, this is a sense that I give myself what I need. I support myself, and thus my cup overflows. I'm generous with others who need my attention, my nurturance. This is not about doing for others. This is about supporting others to do what they need to do. In the present, the Ten of Swords and the Two of Cups is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. This is really the ability to recognize the tremendous shift that you've made in the way you work and why. Many of you have become entrepreneurs or more independent. You are looking at the way you've always worked and built success for others and how to shift that into building success for yourself in a way that is sustainable. Not by working around the clock, overworking, overgiving, none of that. This is really about balancing the results with the effort. And for many of you, that formula has been reversed. In other words, I work in a way that sustains me, that I can maintain, and my rewards are amplified because I'm strategic with the way that I work, having learned from the efforts of others. So you are in the process of evaluating the way that you gain value and support, stability, the way that you build that now and how you can shore up your stability in the future. And this includes the ability to stay on your path, because it looks like for many of you, you have stayed on a fairly consistent path in your work or your efforts over a long period of time. In the future, the Strength card is clarified by the Page of Wands, and I really do love this. This is coming out of what looks like significant transformation. This means you've let go of a lot. You may still be, you probably still are in the throes of separating yourself from relationships or situations, environments that you now recognize don't support you, no matter how intimately tied to those you've been. And instead, you are open and willing to grow and learn. You recognize, despite the power, the experience you have, you're on a brand new journey here. And the sole purpose is less of a destination as it is the development of your growth, the ongoing inspiration that motivates you and shows you new ideas, new people, new ways of doing things. I'm going to finish up this collective reading with a flower oracle, and the African violet has turned up, and the key word is spirituality. It's time to connect with what you believe. So appropriate. I almost said perfect, but I decided not to. Thank you so much for this beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.